Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, we're building a gaming server. That's it. I gotta come up with an intro, man. I mean, it's the same thing. Hey, in today's video, guess what we're doing? It's the title of the video. Anyways, yeah. So, I'm just gonna get right into it. As you can see, we have various server parts generally scattered in front of us, and that's about it. First things first, before we get into building this gaming server, we are going to put on gloves because, it's hot, and I don't want to sweat all over my server. Well, at least from the hands. Maybe a little bit unnecessary, but it makes me feel cool. Alright, let's do this. So, but what I'm talking about is building a server to host games, which is why our motherboard looks like this. This, in a beautiful mix of enterprise server and consumer performance gaming something. I don't know. I didn't rehearse this or anything. Anyways, this is the ASRock Rack X470D4U. I got that right. This is a AM4 motherboard, so Ryzen, with an X470 chipset. So plenty of performance, supports 3000 to 5000 series Ryzens. In today's video, we'll be using a 5000 series, kind of maxing out this board. It's got a ton of features. You know, we got dual M.2s. Two 16X and an 8X PCI Express slot. Now, the reason we're using a board like this is, first of all, as you see, the RAM is on top, and we'll go over the RAM in a little bit. It also supports ECC UDIMMs for DDR4, so error correcting. And as you can see right here, we're going to be putting it in a server chassis, so all of that super duper matters. I'm actually going to mount this in the case, because it's just going to be easier to build out, and this case is kind of more like it's very flat, very easy to build in, so we are going to build this out inside of the case. So I've already changed the standoffs that kind of screw through the bottom. This is a micro ATX motherboard, which should just simply sit on top of our standoffs like so. And we're gonna screw things up. Oh, fuck. Alright. Ah, fuck. Yeah, I love recording 3 minutes at a time. Okay, so as you can see, that is very nicely in our 1U server chassis. So yes, we are building a 1U server, if you could not, please, thank you. We're building a 1U server, so this is the smallest form factor of server, and it's going to have this entire gaming stuff in 1/42nd of a single rack, because the rack is 42 of these 1Us, which is great. So we can fit a ton of gaming in here. Very efficient form factor for this server. This section, the reason we're building in a server case like this is because we get these nice redundant 500 watt power supplies. So this is 500 watts total output, but we can go across two of our circuits, and we have two circuits. Everything is super redundant and nice, and yeah, not to mention 80 plus platinum helps a little bit with our nice fat fucking power bill. And then I'm going to just like so, really get it in there, right between that, up to the connector, and come around and perfectly put it right there. Here we go again, new SSD in the camera. So with our power connected and this little sensor cable that allows the motherboard to read power supply information, a little candy cane right there, we're just about ready to put in some hardware. Now, for hardware, very simple. We've got this. This is a Ryzen 9 5900X. You know it, you love it. 12 cores up to almost 5 gigahertz. I think it's 4.8 on paper. And it will be perfect for running a good amount of game servers. We could probably get about 20 game servers on this CPU. We might upgrade to a 5950X that we already have sitting in the data center from a different build, because this is a better motherboard anyways. But either way, 12 core, 24 thread, perfect for single threaded applications such as game servers with things like Minecraft and Rust and all that. Always good to have good single core speeds. And just like that, wow, beautiful. Ryzen 9 5900X. Wow. Anyways, yeah, this will be the core of our thing because we need to deploy this. This will be running our game server hosting business in the EU. So this will be deployed to the Czech Republic, where one of our server racks is, and that is where this 5900X will reside and host, hopefully, game servers for you guys. Now, now cooler. As you're probably figuring, it's very hard to cool a 5900X 105 watt TDP CPU, goes much higher than that, in a form factor like this. It's so short. Anyways, that's why we have this. This is a Dynatron something cooler with this massive copper block and this super high speed, also part of the heatsink, by the way. The fan enclosure is part of the heatsink. Super fast fan. Combined with the server airflow from these fans in the front, it should be relatively well cooled. So for thermal paste, I did try to use these like thermal grizzly pad things everyone's talking about. It's like the Honeywell pad that melts and reforms. It's cool and stuff, but unfortunately it melted and reformed inside of my mailbox and became basically useless. I don't know if that's something that can happen, but it's not the first time I've ordered something on Amazon and have it come just useless. Like it would not go to the CPU. There'll probably be a video about that because it was pretty funny. So I'm just going back to regular thermal paste. This is one of the most, it's decent. It's relatively inexpensive. I bought on Amazon. If you're interested, I always put Amazon affiliate links in the description. But I did buy some spreaders because that's probably the thing I'll plan to do next. So it goes right in there like so for a server build. Wow. So for RAM, as we kind of talked about before. Anyways, in our case, these are Samsung 32GB ECC UDIMMs, so unregistered. You know, 10 to 20 game servers per node. ECC is not just a nice to have, it is basically a requirement. So that's what we run on our game servers, where it is possible, and where it's not, people are let know and the price is lower because, you know. But anytime I can afford these, I buy them. They're very rare though to get them on eBay and such, so if anyone has any, let me know. But these are DDR4 2933, so basically the fastest RAM that I've seen for ECC in not RDIMM, so it's great. Probably run at 2666 in the end, but doesn't matter. Having a nice set of a little bit faster RAM definitely doesn't hurt. And we are running 4 of these 32GB DIMMs. And we're not going to talk about the fact that I spent $500 on this RAM. Sorry, 500 euros on this RAM. So $600 on this RAM. And I asked the seller, hey, if I buy this RAM today, because he wasn't taking offers like a dick, can you please ship it tomorrow so I can have it for the initial deployment? Not only did he not respond to that DM, he waited 2 weeks to ship this RAM, which was super cool and really fun for my $500 purchase. But yeah, in the end I got it, and if anything doesn't work at all, I'm going to return it immediately. There we go, I mean look at that. Progress update. Our server is looking actually like a server, it's pretty cool. Some SSD. Now, unfortunately, I'm still waiting on some more to arrive because SSDs are expensive and hard to find. But what we're going to run is this FireCuda 530 NVMe SSD to start. We are going to add a second one to make a RAID 1. But just to boot the system, we're going to have a 1TB FireCuda 530. This is a Gen 4 SSD. It may run at Gen 3 on this board, but that will remain to be seen. So anyways, we're running this SSD. Should be plenty for all of our game servers. High performance SSD. I don't think they sell the exact same SSD on Amazon anymore. At least I haven't seen it, but if there's an equivalent or they made a new one, there will be link in the description below. There's something I missed because yes, normally people would deploy the M.2 like this, and for the most part, it should work completely fine. But since this is a very dense and hot build, a lot of hot air moving around, we are actually going to use one of these. This is from Arctic. I think they're like $5 a piece on Amazon, which is super convenient. We're going to be using one of these Arctic M2 Pro, I guess they call it, heatsinks. It's just a very basic like block of aluminum heatsink for our SSD. And I'm using that just to provide a little bit of extra cooling and make sure that out of all these stupid things that could compromise performance, the SSD getting a little bit hot isn't one of them. There we go. It goes on very easy. It just kind of snaps in. One of the easiest ones with none of those stupid rubber bands, and shouldn't come out. So, a little bit of extra cooling on our super high performance SSD. Plus, it makes it look kind of cool. I would definitely like to get custom purple ones to match the color of my business. There's a link in the description below if you're interested. But no, it'd be really cool to have like custom purple ones that are shiny and royal purple like what we do. But anyways, putting that in like so. And not breaking our motherboard fan would be nice. And then once we get our second 1TB NVMe, we'll configure that as a RAID 1 in software. Just like that, our build is almost complete. We're just missing one more key component here. I mean, while we do have dual onboard 1 gigabit NICs, I like to go a little bit extra. So what we're going to be throwing in here is a dual 40 gigabit NIC. Yep. 2 times QSFP plus 40 gigabit Mellanox Connect X3. We run 100 gigabit switches as like our LAN switches in the data center. So I was like, hey, we have 100 gig, we have 40 gig, we have a ton of 40 gig cables left over. Fuck it. 80 gig to the server, redundant 40 gig. I love it. So yeah, that's just what we're doing. So what we're gonna do, unscrew this. So thankfully we can use full height PCI Express slots with a riser such as this. Gonna plug it into our riser. Goes in first, guys. It's almost like I've done this 500 times and still don't know how to build a computer. There we go. There we go. Well, and just like that, our server is basically done. Now, you may have noticed I didn't plug in the fan in the front just yet. We will be doing that, but I only have one fan extension at the moment, which I'm gonna plug in the fan at the end. We're plugging in one fan just for the PCI Express card here, because this is a 40 gigabit NIC. It, believe it or not, needs a lot of cooling. And just like that, we have a server. What we're going to do is throw in our two, or at least we're going to throw in for now one of our 500 watt redundant power supplies, so it doesn't scream at us that it's missing a power supply the whole time. And with that, we have just successfully built, in way too long of time, a super stable, super redundant, super powerful, super awesome, super expensive gaming server. So yeah, this server, and hopefully a few more like it, will be available sometime early August for rent in the Czech Republic. So yeah, if you're interested in game server hosting, you know, you want to host a game, Minecraft, whatever, plenty of options. We can do whatever. You can also take this entire node as a bare metal host and start your own gaming server company, because we are an infrastructure provider. We do like the whole thing. So yeah, you know, I'm all for building this cool hardware and, you know, renting it out to people who want to do all this kind of stuff, but maybe can't start spending $2,000 on a fucking server like this. Especially with RAM shortages happening everywhere, the UCC thing is going to be very difficult for us. But besides that, I'm just very happy with the way this looks. Like, this is a very, I mean, yes, I understand this cabling rat's nest here is how the server comes. Everything's just soldered to this distribution board here. It is a Supermicro chassis. But yeah, we can also use the NVMe front plane if we would like to as well. We can get adapters and have hot swap so that our data center technicians, remote hands and all of that, can actually hot swap drives in these nodes, and that's something we're definitely going to be doing. But yeah, let's get one more look at this thing. It's like, wow, that is some true gaming server. This case is not really meant to be lifted like this, I'll tell you that. But yeah, that is truly a server for gaming. Hopefully the focus is fine. Sorry, I have the monitor over here to see like what the camera sees, and I can't tell if the focus is good enough, but you'll tell me in the comments, I'm sure. But anyways, yep, here we are. Wow, that is a beautiful server. Wow. Okay, anyways, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this very industrial build. I would boot it and such, but it's... Actually, let's plug this thing in and see if it works. That'll be the last thing we do, okay? Let's see if it screams at us. Well, let's just see if it boots fine. Alright, here we go. Boot test number 1. I've got green lights on the board. Power supply is spinning up. Oh, PCI Express fan is spinning up. It is booting. Yeah, that's the thing with the server boards. Unlike gaming boards and PC boards where you're meant to like, hey, boot fast, get ready, you know, doesn't have to do stuff. This has to do all of the checks and ticks and all that stuff. It's even doing like a, hey, do I have enough cooling check, or am I going to fucking die? And then, if it doesn't, it goes, oh, I've got to send an email and doing all this fun stuff before actually booting the board. But that's why we will have many of these with some cool network-based storage. So if a node fails, everyone's game servers can be restored quickly from a backup that is shared across all these. You know, I understand. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna, like, this is the end of the, hey, we're building this. I'm just seeing if it does anything fancy while booting. But what I will, some business thing, a lot of things I've seen where I totally understand it and I see the need for it, but like people just building basic servers, like they build either towers or servers like this, but with consumer grade boards, consumer grade RAM, and single storage. I understand the need for that and the budget for that, but unfortunately, I consider a game server, when you're paying someone to host it, critical infrastructure, right? So I'm thinking dual power supplies, ECC memory, you know, high-end enterprise components. But I can understand the argument that, well, it's a game server, man. It's just not. That kind of explains why I build servers like this. And I'm hoping to build many, many more. And I'm not going to drink beer over it because it's really expensive and I can't afford to replace it yet. Oh, it's actually, it booted fine. Postcode's turned off. I've got normal blinking lights. It posted fine. And this is about all you see when a server posts, because we're not using the VGA output on the board. We are using the network management interface, which I will plug in and boot up a little bit later. Anyways, if you guys kind of enjoyed or like seeing enterprise hardware like this, anyways, if you guys enjoyed, let me know. If you want to see more of this, let me know. If you want to see me do something like game on one of these, also let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.